You know, we're always told that to get what you really want, you have to kind of let it go. But what on earth does that actually mean? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a really simple reframing of detachment that could totally change how you go after your goals.
It is probably one of the most frustrating pieces of advice out there, right? If you want something, and I mean really want it, you have to detach from it. It just feels completely backwards. And honestly, it's a huge stumbling block for just about anyone trying to reach a big goal. And this is exactly why it's so confusing. I mean, you're told to get passionate, feel all that excitement, and visualize your goal in perfect detail. And then, in the very next breath, someone tells you to not care if it even happens. It's a total mental pretzel that, for most of us, just doesn't make any sense. So, let's dive into this exact problem. We're going to call it the detachment paradox.
This rule, detach from the results, seems to be everywhere when you look up goal-setting advice. You put in all this energy, you build up this powerful vision of what you want, and then you're supposed to just switch it off and not care? Yeah, that's a really tough ask.
One source we looked at calls this a brain warper, and I think that just perfectly captures the mental gymnastics you feel like you have to do. I mean, how can you be passionate and totally indifferent at the exact same time?
And this brings us to the most important question of all. If detaching from our actual goal feels so wrong and just counterproductive, maybe we've been looking at this advice all wrong. Maybe we're supposed to be detaching from something else entirely. And this is where things get really clear. The thing we need to detach from isn't the goal itself. No, it's our what-ifs.
So what is a what-if? Simple. It's any potential outcome other than the one you actually want. Think of it as that little nagging voice for every other possibility that is not your goal.
Let's make this super practical. Okay, say your goal is an amazing holiday to Mexico in January. You're picturing the beach, you're feeling the excitement, and then your brain chimes in with, yeah, but what if you don't have the money in time? Or what if you can't get the time off work? Those are your what-ifs, and they almost always circle around not having enough time or money. And this right here is the core idea. The real obstacles, they aren't out there in the world. They're in here, in our heads. It's all about how we choose to deal with these negative what-ifs. Our attachment isn't the problem. It's what we're attached to that matters.
So, how does this change things? Well, it all comes down to a really simple but incredibly powerful mindset shift.
Okay, so the secret isn't to stop caring. Not at all. It's to redirect your focus. You're supposed to detach from the what-if results, all the doubt, the worry, the obstacles, and instead you attach and attach firmly to your desired results, that positive outcome that you're so excited about. The core message honestly couldn't be clearer. Do not detach from your desired results. Attach to those. Your job is to hold on as tightly as you can to that positive vision. That's your North Star.
And this is a really important distinction. This whole technique isn't about pretending that negative possibilities don't exist. It's about the difference between awareness and focus. So you can be aware that a what-if thought popped into your head, but you make a conscious choice not to give it your focus, not to feed it your energy.
All right, so that's the theory. But how do we actually do this? Let's break it down into a practical plan you can start using like today. It really boils down to a simple 4-step process. First, you create your goal. Get specific. Second, just become aware. Just notice when those what-if thoughts start creeping in. Third, you consciously detach. You just pull your focus away from them. And finally, step 4, you immediately reattach to your goal by putting all your attention right back on that positive outcome you want. And that's the entire game, right there. You're shifting your mental real estate from being occupied by all the obstacles to being completely dedicated to the outcome. So you detach from the what-ifs and you attach to the desire. Simple as that. So here's a thought I want to leave you with. Think about a goal you have right now. What's the biggest what-if that keeps getting in your way? Now, what would it feel like to consciously pull your focus away from it and place it right back on the result you truly, truly want? Give it a try.